Hi, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and this is Friday, November the 9th. Thank goodness it's Friday. I always look forward to Fridays, especially when you have a big day, a good trading day like today. And hopefully, if you're listening and doing your video, watching the chart lesson, that you had a good day as well. And if not, study your charts and work hard. Come back next week and try to do better, because that's how you get better. You just keep trading and you keep studying and you keep persevering and you learn from your mistakes and you capitalize on what you do right and you keep working at it. But anyway, let's talk about the chart. Actually, before I do, I want to make one comment just to clarify. I'm not one that goes around pushing my political agenda. I made a comment, I believe it was on Wednesday after the election, that I thought the way the markets responded, that they didn't like the election results. And somebody wrote to me, and I guess they thought that they took from my comment that I was anti-Obama and that I watched too much Fox News or something. And you know, I don't want to get into politics. I don't even want to discuss politics. I don't want politics involved in our training or anything like that. I respect anybody that voted for Obama. I'm not saying I didn't vote for Obama. I'm not saying I did, because I don't want to talk about politics. But I just wanted to clarify that I'm not anti-Obama in any way. I'm not pro-Romney or anti-Romney in either way either. So let's just leave it at that and say that if I offended anybody with that comment, I apologize, because that was not my intent. And any of you that follow me know that unless we've had personal conversations, you probably don't even know what my political affiliation is, and I want to keep it that way. That's not what this is about. But I would never say anything to offend anybody. So, but obviously I struck a nerve with this particular person, and so for that reason I felt like it was worth apologizing for. But I was certainly not trying to knock Obama or say that I was anti-Obama or the market was even anti-Obama. I just made an off-the-cuff remark, but I'm apologizing for it. Enough about that. Let's move on. Let's do the chart lesson for today. Really good trading day. Everything worked by the rules fairly simply today. Really easy to spot this stuff. And you know, if you found the trend channels, there weren't really any surprises. And if you follow the rules, there weren't really any surprises, just a lot of chances to make money today. So let's back out, get a bigger picture here, and let's talk about the trades. And I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet today. And I want to get out of here. It's Friday. I want to get out of here and go. So we started out in a downtrend, but this was in the overnight, and notice we overshot it. And a lot of times when you overshoot a trend channel, it's going to lead to reversal. And that's one of the few times that you won't see prices pull back and retest the low. For whatever reason, prices shot out of here this morning. I didn't get here till slightly after 8:30, so I didn't start trading until we got these next set of pullbacks. But there was an entry right here. This is a second entry long. You got a nice little reversal bar, but more than that, there was a real, you know, we had this kind of little overlap here, and we broke lower one tick, and I probably should have a line on there. Just the visuals make it. I always encourage you to draw your lines, because the visuals make it much easier, and so I usually try to have these on here. So there's more than one reason to take this trade. This is a double bottom during a pullback to the EMA. There is a lot of overlap here, but the fact that we ticked one tick lower down here and trapped everybody and then turned up and closed on the high, you go long right there. That was a quick, easy move right at the open, right at 8:30. And they trapped everybody to the short side first. Everybody's thinking short. We've been in a downtrend, and they caught everybody off guard. And that's usually what happens at the open. They'll trap everybody in one direction and then run it in the other direction. And that's what happened here. And if you saw that, that was a great trade. And you can see it moved a lot higher. Any runners were easily safe. They did come back. That's how efficient the market is. And I actually did a article today. Actually, no, I didn't do that. I'm going to do that soon, though, about market efficiency. I didn't. I covered something different today. There's a new article at the website if you're interested in reading that. Go check it out. But I decided not to do it on the market efficiency today, and I'll do that maybe next week one day. But nice entry there. Again, I didn't come in. The market was up here, and so I was waiting on a pullback. And the way I found this trend line, and this is real important, is I drew this line off these highs right here, copied it and drug it down. And when prices bounce right there at that same spot after two legs back, you got to pay attention to that. And you'll see this a lot right here. And that's how and actually if you weren't sure where the trend line was here, because sometimes it's off the high of the bar and sometimes it's not. But what I did was I drew this line right down through here and drug it up, same thing. And I drug it up to the high, and then, but I've noticed that a lot of times you will find the trend by touching the high of the first bar and through the stem of the other one. It's like that. And that's exactly, that turned out to be good. We broke that right here. We pulled back, and then we just couldn't come down. I mean, it was just, the market was too strong. A lot of buying up through here. But this was a great entry right here, a two-legged pullback to the trend line, which if you couldn't find the trend line, this might have been a little harder trade. But just remember what this is. Remember this little congestion right here. This is a breakout pullback, retest of that area, of that break of that congestion. So, and the fact that it's two legs, two pretty much measured legs, and that's a good sign. And then you got these little two overlapping bars right here. I dropped a limit order in there. It never got filled, so I had to enter right here. Easy scalp, but no runners, dadgummit. And again, the market's efficient, so you got to be careful. But when we made this one and we went lower first and then came up here and closed on the high, the fact that we ticked below this bar right here first and then broke above it, I had my order right there and got long right there. And guess what? This runner was safe, so you could have ridden this up all the way today as far as you wanted to go. And really, there's no reason to exit until you get a break of the trend line and then a retest of the high. So the earliest you should have considered exiting was here, and then maybe here, and if not there, definitely up here. And if you hadn't exited there, if you hadn't got a break lower, maybe even go higher. But when this set up with this bearish bar, I didn't mark this trade. I took this trade, but I didn't mark it. I actually put a limit order right here, and it went a couple of ticks against me. So I entered on a limit order again, and I hate to talk about those because somebody will start trying to do it tomorrow, and they will do it at the wrong place and screw it up. And so I'm not even going to talk about that. That's all I'm going to say about it. But another great entry right there. Notice this one. Notice now we haven't got back up to the trend channel yet. We hadn't come down to the trend line yet, but there's two legs here. There's one leg back. Let me make it a little bigger just to make sure everybody can see it. One leg back, that little green bar is a move up. If you went to a smaller chart, it'd be real clear to see. Then another leg back, and it was a little iffy going long above that bar, but if you didn't take it, because it is a doji, but it's another breakout pullback. Notice where we came back to right across here and tested that. You definitely should have, when it broke higher, you could have dropped a limit order in there and tried to get filled, and you probably would have gotten filled because I didn't take this first trade, but when it broke higher and it couldn't go any lower right here, I just dropped a limit order in there and I got filled. So I know you could get filled there, and you ride this one up, another new high, and then it pulls back to the trend line. A two-legged move back to the trend channel or to the trend line, another reversal bar, go long right there. And this one was kind of scary because we didn't get your scalp here before it broke lower, but then it turned right back up. And when you enter like this, you got to at least keep your stop below the signal bar, which is that bar right there. That's your signal bar, or the bar you want to enter above when it completes. So your stop's going to be below that, and even if you kept it one tick or two ticks, it's not even, you're not even using a point stop right there. So you're getting in easy, and as long as you keep your stop there, even though it pulled back, if you decided you could have gotten out right here, you still would have made a tick, and then you would have wanted to enter again right here because then you got a second entry long off the low with another real bullish bar. Same thing, it runs to a new high and then it pulls back again. There's a chance to get long right there. I think I meant to, let me, instead of doing that, let me just do this. But that's another two-legged pullback, and that's to the EMA and the trend line. We still hadn't had a trend line break. You might have considered that a break, but that's not much of one. So the market's still working higher. Excuse me, I get to talking and my throat gets to bother me still to this day. But another chance to get long right there, two-legged pullback to the EMA, the trend line. But notice the overlap here by the time this finishes, and there was some overlap there, so you could have waited until this bar, actually when this broke lower and prices turned up, you know, you could go long there or right here above that bar, but when this one formed, it was probably okay to go long there. Again, you got some overlap, but this thing is steadily chopping higher, another easy scalp, and then we kind of went in this. We finally got the trend line break. The only reason I didn't mark this one, you actually could have gone long right here, but it's a first entry, and because you got some, you know, it's a doji, and then you ended with another doji, and then another one, you didn't want to go long right here, really. You could have, again, because you got to figure we're going to retest the high, but it's better to wait on a trap. And so when we tried to pull back here and trapped everybody, and then now look at that. You can tell the smart traders were waiting on this right here. And once you pulled lower, they were entering. This turned up, closed on its high. It's a great place to go long right there. And it shot straight up, easy scalp. Again, they came back and got the runner. So you had to enter again right here. Another two-legged pullback. And normally you're going to get two legs up to a new high. So you measure that leg, and the second high is like right in here, but we went even higher than that. The market was just strong this morning. So when you see a two-legged pullback, even though we've had a trend line break, you know, it's especially with a reversal type bar like that, you got to consider that trade. And again, this is the same thing, but I didn't mark this one because look at all the overlap. But let me show you this. One leg back, it went pull back, another leg back, and then it shot up. So that still meets our criteria in an uptrend. And look at that, it took off again. I didn't mark it though for the reasons we said, but you got a trap down here. You got all these little overlap, and it broke lower and then even broke one and then turned. When you see a bullish reversal bar after a tick lower like that, you got to pay attention to that and look at it take off. But I didn't mark that one for the reasons we talked about. Too much overlap. We've already had a trend line break. You could have seen this as two legs up, so it wouldn't surprise me if you break here and you reverse and turn down. But they took it higher, and we got all the way up here before, again, before we started to go lower. And when we got those three overlapping bars there, I dropped my limit order there, and it went 1-2 ticks against me and then turned. So I was able to get out down here somewhere before it even bounced, knowing that with all this overlap, you're going to get a snapback, and we got that. And you could have gone short here. But I don't really like that because by this time you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 bars, and you see what happened. Again, it snaps back, and then it turns down. So, and then you kind of got your trend line off your first two swings right there, and you touch the trend line again, and then look at it reverse. So right there's a good trade. Figuring that we're probably going to at least make another leg down like this, but this thing took off. This was a great trade. Any runners were easily safe until all the way down here. Now this pullback, and look at that pullback. I mean, they come back and get these runners. And this one, actually, if you entered below that bar, your runners were safe. So you can see that right there. There's where you would have entered at 84.75. Come in. Okay, sorry about that. I had somebody come in my office, so I had to take care of some business. But anyway, this snaps back, and if depending on how your chart is, my runners survived this one. Don't know if yours did, but my runners would have survived. I was in from up here. And so obviously my runner survived from up here. So I did not enter again here. I didn't want to add on this quick. Um, so anyway, but if you did enter on this one, your runner survived. And then you were able to get another chance to go short right here. You wouldn't want to go short below that bar because it's still bullish and we aren't quite back to the trend line. But when you got this bearish reversal, you got to consider going short right there. Easy trade. Look at that move. You got to be thinking, hey, we may get another leg like that right here. There's leg one. There's where your target would have been. You can see we got a little lower than that, but you can tell that's where it started to find resistance right in there. So nice target area right in here. And if you'd got out right in there, you'd gotten out really close to the low. And there's actually a short right here, but it's just too risky because if you drew this line here and you drug it down, you got to be seeing those bounces right there. And it's really risky after three, a couple legs down. But even if you entered right there, I think it would have worked. Let's just see if that would have worked. But, I don't recommend that trade because you've already had 2 legs down. Your entry would have been 76. So, yeah, you had a couple of ticks to spare there, so it would have been a nice trade again. And but I don't like that trade. Everybody and their brother, every phone I got, people at the door, I'm sorry. It's Friday. But and there was and this is why you don't want to go long down here because actually I take that back. This one would have worked. Now this one would have failed. This failed break lower would have worked. This would have been the trade to take. But it's just not wise to take these trades. And you're better off to wait till you get up here. And this might have been like this right here, and these could be overshoots, but I really think that fits so well down here that's just the channel right there. But anyway, there were 2 legs back right here, but there's too much overlap here to be thinking long. We weren't back here, but I just don't like that long. You're better off to be thinking that, hey, let's wait till we get back to the trend line. But look what happens when we get back to the trend line. This is the first bar you get that you could go short below, and it never triggers. Then you got all this overlap, and guess what happens when it ticks lower? It traps everybody, and look, turns up. Look at that bullish reversal bar. You can't ignore that. And so if you wanted to, you could go along there. I didn't mark it because there's a good chance that this could have turned down and went lower, but look at that thing go. And went up here. So you definitely, first you were looking to enter here, and because this is a doji at the very top, so far away from, actually because of these overlap, you should have been thinking that if it breaks higher, it's probably going to fail, and I can look for a possible setup. I know I tell a lot of you stay away from the dojis, but if you're going to enter at a doji, this is one that I would say is okay. Nice trade. Look at that move down. You got to consider when you get a couple of overlapping bars this way far away from the EMA that something, if you break above it, it's probably going to snap back. And you can see not only did it snap back, but what happens is it traps a lot. There's a lot of trapped traders to the upside here because they're thinking, hey, I'm getting let. They see this one go, and then it goes without them. They see this negative bar, and then it goes without them. They're thinking, I got to get in now. And they all jump in, and guess what happens? All they do is give the smart traders a chance to exit with their profits, the ones that got long up through here, probably the real smart ones that got long down here, and they're going to take profits now up here at this resistance area right over here, kind of a double top across there, and we might as well put it on there just so everybody can see it. I always tell you to put your lines on here, and you can see what that is. That's a failed break above that area that trapped everybody, and it turns down. So another reason to enter there, a broader double top. And if you went all the way to the top, it's a perfect double top. So you can't ignore that. And then boom. And plus, you're thinking that as soon as you get a reversal, this is the first break of this trend line, you got to come back for a retest. And there you come, and you got one leg down, and now you're looking for a possible another one, and you can see it's almost a perfect measured move before the day closed there. And there's one other trade here. I only marked one more. This is a two-legged pullback to the EMA. Not only that, it's a double. I'll just use this line right here. It's kind of a double top across there. You can see it, even if you wanted to use those two highs. And it's a nice reversal bar. You go short right there, easy scalp. No big runners or anything, but easy scalp. There was some good running off that right there. And when you got this big reversal bar right here, that was probably the place to be thinking about exiting. But anyway, it even went lower than that, but you would have had to ride this out, and you don't want to ride back and give, because with this double bottom down here, that's good enough for a retest. We could have went higher. And that's another reason I don't really like this trade. But notice that you got a double top now, and then you got a failed break above that. So another reason to enter there. But it's too late in the day. It's almost 3 o'clock, and that's so we're not interested in that. But that was pretty much it for the day. I'll back out and give everybody a bigger shot at it one more time. You got a channel down, reversal, channel up, reversal, channel down, and it's pretty much reversed now. So maybe we'll go higher up here starting on Sunday evening. So we'll see what happens. But I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully you had a good trading day. Hope you have a better trading week. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next week.